Good evening and welcome to a special edition of On the Sofa. Chris is taking a well-deserved break, so I'm delighted to step in. And we have the great pleasure tonight of having Vicki Eyles on, who is the new Swindon Town Fan Engagement Manager. And we're really looking forward to seeing her. So without further ado, let's bring Vic on. Good evening, Vic, and welcome to summer.
Yes, it's a beautiful day in Devon. The sun is streaming through the window. I've had to get the shades drawn, which is quite a rare occurrence these days, unless it's dark, obviously, at 6 o'clock, as it has been. Yeah.
And should we just tell them we're going to do a super thing on July the 28th, aren't we? We're going to watch our two teams we love.
Well, Somerset are at Hampshire in the 50 overs, and Swindon are at Eastleigh on the same day in a friendly kicking off at 1 o'clock. And I'm reliably informed that they're within 10 minutes of each other, so both should be possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So without further ado, let's bring Vicki on. Good evening, Vicki. Welcome.
Hi, you okay?
Good evening and congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah. I'll leave you guys to it then.
Thank you very much indeed, Andy. Just to say, of course, news of SAS travel. You will know over the course of the summer we lost our dear friend Mark Waters, who for many years ran SAS travel. Well, it's being continued, which is fabulous news for all of us, and will pay tribute to Mark's legacy. I'll give you all the booking details. If we can run through them quickly now. They'll be open during the season, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the Swindon Town Club shop. Thanks to those involved who allowed that to happen. On Saturday, home matches only in the Legends Lounge between 1 and 2 p.m. By phone, Monday and Wednesday between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. And if you are unable to get through, then leave a voicemail with your name and number, and they'll return your call on the same evening. We'll give you all the rest of the details, like the telephone number, as we get towards the season. The email is sastravel1879@yahoo.com. Or you can get them on Twitter, or X as it is now, SAS Travel 1879 @travel1879. We have all those details here at the Supporters Club. So if you've missed any of that, we'll repeat it later on, and indeed, of course, as we get nearer to the close season. Vicki Eyles, thank you very much indeed for joining us today on a momentous day for you. How are you feeling?
I'm good. Yeah, it's been nerve-wracking, but yeah, it's good. I'm excited.
So tell us exactly what fan engagement officer means.
It's just to build a relationship and make sure that the communication and engagement is built closer between the fans and the club. It's not really been a secret. It's been a bit quiet on that front, the back end of the season, but we're all working hard behind the scenes to make sure that that's put right ahead of the 24-25 season.
How important is this actual position? Because as you rightly said, people have pointed to the fact that, for weeks, there's been no communication with fans whatsoever at a crucial time when season tickets are being sold. And you would think the club would do their best to promote that. But how important is your role now?
Massive. It's massively important. It's just nice for fans to know they have someone to go to. It's a direct person. They're not picking an email off the website and hoping for the best. There's a clear contact, clear person to address it to as well. And it's nice that they're going to get a personalised response back as well. It's not just it's not my role and pass it on to the next person. I will make it my responsibility to get that to the right person and communicate that back and get that to them in a short space of time as well.
I think it's also said that when people make appointments at football clubs, that the person being appointed doesn't know much about the football club. But it's fair to say, I think, the football club inside out. Give us a background of your Swindon Town supporting days on those cold away terraces.
Well, it's a bit of a family thing, really. So my granddad started coming many, many years ago. He got my auntie and my dad into it. And I think as soon as I was old enough to sit there for longer than 30 seconds, my dad had me a season ticket as well. So I've had one since I was 5. I then started going to away games around 15 years ago. Sort of the bug of Charlton away in the playoffs caught me. And then started working there just under 8 years ago. So yeah, I've been about.
You suffered with the rest of us, I think it's fair to say, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, the first season I started working here, we got relegated, so that was
Great.
not a good start.
You didn't fill me with confidence on that particular score, but anyway, but it's nice to know that somebody who's been appointed to look after the fans is somebody who knows what fans think. And I guess when you go to away games, you know how away fans feel, don't you? You've been there. You want them to have the best experience possible. And I guess that's what you want to see at Swindon Town.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's also, you go to these grounds and you like how they treat you and approach you sticks with you, and you want that when people come to Swindon. So you take bits of that day and you want to bring it to the county ground as well, so that people have that same feeling. It's obviously, if you don't walk away with the 3 points, there's obviously going to be disappointment, but there'll be something else that sticks with you from that day. So whilst in non-selfish way, I hope people walk away without the 3 points from the county ground, I want them to still feel like they've been looked after.
Yeah,
so, and that's home and away. But yeah,
as you and I both know, what really matters is what happens on the green bit between 3 and 5 on a Saturday. That affects people's moods, doesn't it? And as we've seen, either makes people happy or very, very disappointed. You have no say over that, but you can make the experience better. And you've dealt with the mascots brilliantly, haven't you? You have this thing where you have the first day or first game certificate.
My first game, yeah.
So you've seen the young kids come in and enjoy that first day. Yes.
So my first game's it's a sort of 10-15 minute exercise, but actually it's rewarding to get those emails back to say they've had a great day and they will be back. And obviously throughout this season it's not been very memorable on the pitch, but even though they've enjoyed that, they've still enjoyed it and have wanted to come back, and having seen some of them when they've come back, it's been rewarding.
Yeah, sure. And I know your family help out in the Junior Reds as well, don't they?
They do, yes. Yeah.
Right, well, we're getting good messages for you, so you're okay. This is from Tony Goff. He says, good luck, Vicky. Kevin says, good luck in your new role. And Ben, hi, Ben. Just want to say a massive thank you to Vicky for sorting out my online account. Now, okay, so you are fan engagement officer. Another one from James. Congratulations, Vicky. Amazing. Your hard work's been recognised in getting this role. Wish you all the best, and great also for a town fan to be in the role. So let's clear up what you're actually doing, because you're fan engagement officer, you're supporters liaison officer, and ticket manager.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so how many hours do you have how many hours do you have in your day?
It's not a 9 to 5, put it that way, but I know I've got a big task on my hand, and then it will just see all those coming together. It will just be rewarding. So I'm not fussed about 9 till 5 if it means that it's enjoyable and it's put that relationship back between the fans and the club. So that's all it is. But yeah.
How difficult will that be? How difficult will that be, do you think? Because there is a disconnect. You know that. As I've said, you travel away, you hear what fans are saying. There is that disconnect. How difficult will that be?
I think we'll be okay. I mean, a lot of the ideas that we have, I mean, there's some things that we're looking at bringing back. There's some things that we're looking at introducing. I think a lot of it's hard. I think, obviously, you say that majority of it's very important of what happens on the pitch. So that will be the first thing. But I think it'll be okay. I think the fans need to be patient with me whilst I'm waiting for that season to start before you'll start seeing too much of the changes. But I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be good.
Dave says, well done. Good luck with the new role. So all positive so far. You're okay.
Thank you.
We mentioned away fans. If I said bar 71 to you,
Yeah.
let me give you a couple of examples. You've been to Harrogate. There's nothing for town fans. You get there, nothing.
Yeah.
You go to Hartlepool. There's a lovely social club. You go into the social club at Hartlepool. You can have a drink. You keep warm, etc.
They've got two, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Crawley is another one. That's a lovely little place you go to.
Yeah.
So bar 71 used to be the away bar. What are you got any plans for that?
It was actually open for 3 games towards the end of the season, this season. So Doncaster, Notts County and AFC Wimbledon fans got to experience that again this season. And it will be open for away fans for next season as well.
So they will have that when they get off the bus, they can go straight to bar 71. Well, that's good to know, because I think, you know what it's like being an away fan. You want to be treated properly, don't you?
Yeah. And that's it. And due to circumstances, it couldn't be opened for Morecambe, and it wasn't very pleasant seeing them walking up and down the Arkles looking for something to do. And you'll know yourself, when you get to the ground early and there isn't anything to do, it makes for a tedious wait, because those turnstiles don't open till 1:30 either, especially if it's raining. I mean, you guys were on the coach on the way back from Harrogate when the doors didn't work, and from what I hear, it wasn't a pleasant experience having to wait in the rain.
No, and I would say on that score, Bradford City fans had problems with their bus, did they not?
Yes.
But
yes,
they were brought into the Legends Lounge to keep warm, weren't they? Which I think is a magnificent example of treating away fans properly.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and that leaves a good impression with fans when they go away from there. Right, let's talk about some of the things that you've got in or want to put in place. In your head, I'm sure you've been thinking about this, an ideal day at the county ground. What would that be, apart from 3 points, clearly? But what would an ideal day be for a supporter arriving at the county ground?
So I don't know if I can reveal any of the ideas at the moment. We'll be looking. The problem that Swindon have got is the spacing around the ground. So obviously we've got the big car park out the front, but that's full. So we've got to look at spacing. So we've obviously sorted the junior red room for the under sort of 11s, under 12s. We are going to look at doing something for that next age bracket of 12 to 17, which we will look at doing something obviously for them. But there's lots of stuff really. So halftime entertainment is a big one. We'll be looking at doing something like bring everyone together for that, including the away fans, so that it brings that sort of all together. Kind of just. So Walsall, for example, they used to have people turning up at 2:45 and leaving as soon as the whistle went. They've now started bringing things into place that now their fans turn up at 9:30, 10 o'clock for a 3 o'clock kickoff.
Wow.
Yeah. So maybe not to that extreme just yet, but we'll definitely be looking at bringing things in so that fans can come earlier and making more of a day of it. And I'm restricted to stuff at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. But you have plans to put that situation. I mean, another thing, of course, is we don't know kickoff times now, do we? Because with the new deal, they could be all over the shop, couldn't they? Exactly,
yes. So until we get some of those announced and confirmed, that will also take into account. So I think we find out a week after the fixtures are released.
Right. So then we'll find out what time the kickoffs are. Yeah.
Yes, at least up until October. So we'll be able to make a start anyway.
I'm very much looking forward to Barrow at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. That'll be absolute hoot, won't it?
They do like to be nice to us.
Yes. Mark says, good luck, Vicky. Stephen says, will or can Vicky get the manager players to do more fans forum phone in Monday night panels throughout the season? That's not your bag, or is it your bag? I'm not really sure.
I can definitely give someone a push, but yeah, trying to build that relationship, but I don't know if I can with that. I will have to ask the question.
Fair enough. Okay, I'm not asking that. It's right. Carol says, you know Carol very well. Is there anything you've experienced as an away fan that you want to bring to the county ground? If there was one, you mentioned Walsall and the fact that they turn up very early. Is there one thing that you'd kind of like to bring in that you've spotted?
I'm going to say it again, Walsall. Even just little things to begin with. Every time I've been to Walsall, they have had halftime entertainment, and it's been different. They've mixed it up. It's simple things like that I'm looking to start. Like they're little things that make a difference. Even to the point where like the mascots at away games, they've come over and been more sociable. So I need to have a word with Rockin' Robin and see if he'll go around and show off a little bit more.
Okay, good luck with that. I'm sure you'll do fine. Oliver says, been needed for years. Nice to hear. Every other successful family-focused club has a fan zone, etc. Food, music, make a day of it. Stand by, I think it's fair to say.
Yes, yeah.
Tony says, look, Carlisle fan zone, really good food and drink and entertainment. I'd also point you in the direction of Exeter, who have an excellent area outside the ground. But again, stand by on that one. So in terms of your hopes for this role, what is the one thing you really want to hope for that comes out of it?
Just fans having a good day, and almost not, we all go there for the football, we do, but win, lose or draw, I want people to walk away happy. I don't want them to be walking away from sort of losing. I mean, there were a few of them this season, but you want to see smiles walking away from the county ground because they've had that good experience, rather than just doom and gloom as they walk back to the car.
I've got two grandsons who are difficult to drag out of the junior reds room, to be honest, when they go. So, and I think that's been a huge success, hasn't it? Caroline's done a fabulous job on that. That is a real example of how the clubs moved forward last season.
Yes, yeah, and that's it. It's, you know, people have worked hard to get that room up and running, and like you say, there are people in there that volunteer. I know that your wife goes in there and helps as well, so she shouldn't go unnoticed. But so it's almost like we've got the junior red room up and running, great, but we need something for that next age group, those 12 to 17-year-olds. We need to also target for them. What can we do? And if anyone's got any suggestions, my email address is there. So just pop them by. But yeah, that will be one of the main things we're looking at as the next step. So.
Because you know, as somebody who's done it yourself, you know how important it is to hook people young. It's very important, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. And I remember that my dad was always sort of not concerned, but I was getting to that age where I could go out with friends and things, and I think he thought that my Swindon Town days were sort of over, but I didn't, and I think I got more attached to it, and now here we are.
You're quite attached to it now, I'd suggest.
Yes,
So how does this work then? Do you report to Anthony? Do they give you ideas? Do you sit down together? How does this all work?
It's a bit of both, really. So I had a lot of ideas, and I went to Anthony and said, can we do this? Can we do this? And the club have been great, and they've said we will sit down, we'll back you. I know I've got the support from you guys as well. You've said if you need any help. So, but other people have also come in with ideas. So it's not just me. It's not just a couple of us. There is a team behind the scenes that do work hard and want this to work. So and I've got a message here from Kevin.
He says it was mostly cold, wet, and windy on our home match days. Hot water bottles for the duffers. Actually, that's a very good idea, Kev. I'd go along with that. You might need them at Barrow at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night in November.
Yeah.
You don't know. Yeah. So, how much contact do you have with other clubs? I think you mentioned earlier to us that you'd been in contact with the Wickham, your opposite number at Wickham. So, I assume all clubs speak about this, do they?
Yeah. So, just under a month ago, I went to Walsall, and they held like a Family Excellence Day. So there was all clubs of EFL basically. So you could speak to Grimsby, and then even got talking to Ipswich, which obviously their last meeting. But so you can speak to anyone. There is also like an SLO WhatsApp group, and people are always pinging messages in there. Like, I've got this. Have you had any success with this? Or have you had anything that haven't worked so much? And it's a great way to just share ideas, because we're all in it for the same thing. We want each match to be a success, and we want, you know, the fans to have that relationship with the club in more ways than just the 90 minutes on the pitch.
Because I think if there's a criticism of all football clubs, and I'm not just talking about Swindon here, they just expect people to turn up on a Saturday afternoon, sit down or stand up, watch the match, moan a bit, then go home again. That's it, isn't it? That's basically all they've expected. So that's changing, I'm guessing.
Yes, yeah, that is. It's encouraging. So they've done this Family Excellence scheme. They've actually done since 2006, but now it is really starting to be implemented and taking place more seriously. Like, I know that obviously and Swindon weren't the only club to not have an SLO in previous seasons, and now we've gone from having an SLO and a fan engagement officer in a couple of months. So there are steps being taken to change things, to change the ways. So,
and with your supporters hat on, this is move away from the position you're in now. I think the club has admitted it's made mistakes in its relationship with supporters. Do you feel as a supporter that is beginning to change? Yeah.
Yes. So with my supporters hat on, not too much has obviously changed at the moment. Obviously the engagement has got better. It's helped that we've now announced that we're with Adidas, so it's kind of given us things to engage on. But I think as soon as fixtures come out, you'll start to see a lot more.
Yeah. The Premier League ones are out today, I think. Ours are out next week. Is that right?
Next Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah. Kev says a top 6 team will help change the atmosphere. Certainly will. That'll do nicely. Thank you very much.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking of games, of course, you've got some friendlies. Wickham at home, which is the Saturday before the start of the season. But there are some away ones: Supermarine, Highworth, Corsham, Eastleigh. Have I missed any? Yet? I don't think I have. But the tickets for the away ones you don't deal with, is that right?
We don't know. So that will be down to Supermarine, Highworth.
Melksham's the other one I forgot. I shouldn't do that because my mother-in-law lives there, so I shouldn't do that. So all the tickets for away friendlies get from that club.
Yes, yeah, and I believe the Supermarine and Melksham ones are on sale now.
Yes,
I think Highworth is pay on the day. So, yes, yeah.
And when will Wickham be available? Do we know?
Wickham will be within the next week. We're just finalising a few things with Wickham, and then it'll all be announced on website and social media.
See, another thing which I've noticed is that there are regular updates on the pitch, which, all right, it's like watching grass grow, but you are literally watching grass grow, because there was a lot of criticism of the pitch last year, but we are seeing how that's coming on, which is a big thing, isn't it?
Yes, and it's just another thing of engaging with the fans. It's something that you wouldn't normally get to see, and it's those little updates that actually, whilst maybe not everyone's cup of tea, it lures you in, because actually seeing it come together, it for football fans as well, it's almost like we're getting closer. So yeah, it's good of Matt that he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, sure. Because it's always a great thing when you turned up for the first pre-season friendly of the season and you walked in and there was this beautiful green carpet in front of you. When I started going, it was a patch of mud after about 6 weeks, but that's not like that anymore. But there is that feeling, isn't there? For the start of the season, there's fresh grass, everything's lovely. Away we go.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. I think we left on the Friday and it was brown. You come back on the Monday and obviously it's doing what it should be doing. But you're like, oh my God, it's changed so much. So even for us, we're kind of getting a bit distracted by it, and it's nearly football time again. So
yeah, this is I don't really think you can answer this, but this is more of a comment. Anthony says, why can't Swindon ever arrange a decent pre-season tour or even a glamour friendly against either a top British club or European team? I'm going to throw this in and say, actually, a home friendly against somebody like Real Madrid, is that really going to warm your players up? League One, Wickham. I know Wickham being League One and we're not, it's not great, but it's more of a workout for Swindon than if you had a top team, I guess. It's not a glamour tie by any means, but you see the point I'm making.
Yeah. It's one of those, we'd all like a Liverpool or Man City, but like you say, Vic, like is it actually the test our players need the week before the season starts? Whereas at least Wickham will give you a fairer outcome, I suppose.
Yeah. Oliver says we did used to be fair. I remember Southampton coming down just before the Europa League season.
I do remember Liverpool and was it Tottenham?
Yeah, we had Everton as well, I think, didn't we?
Yeah.
So you've had them.
Never say never, but I will speak to the relevant people. I'm not making promises on that one.
Get the victorious England team back from the Euros. We'll give them a game. How about that? This is from Old Duffer Ratter. Hi, Vicky. Congratulations. Sneaking a watch while at work. Oh, sneaking a watch while at work. I see. Any chance of heated padded seats for us old duffers? Now, Kev and Russ, I mean, I think they're pushing it a little bit here, but heated padded seats would be nice, I have to say. Right. Lena asks, when is the new kit out? What can you tell us about the new kit?
I don't have a date confirmed at the moment. It's a case of watch this space. That is all I can say.
Can you say that you're arranging anything around that kit launch? Are you going to do something special with it, or is it a case of just, appearing on a video? Will there be something? Can you say anything about that?
There is a video. There will be a video. That is something that the club will be working on. And we will be looking to make something on the day of the launch. Like we say, we're just waiting for a date to be confirmed before we can fully put things in place. But as soon as we can, we will announce something.
And is it fair to say the home kit will be red? Yes, fair enough. Okay. Right. Well, Mark says, I think you kind of answered this really. Do you have any plans to offer outside of the ground on match days? Again, there sort of are plans, but there aren't plans to be revealed. Is that fair to say?
There are plans, and if we can, we will. There are some things I can't go into, but in regards to outside the ground, if we can, we will. Okay. Is all I can say.
Can you tell us anything about the agreement? People seem to be making sure to clarify it's not actually a deal with Adidas. Can you say anything about that?
See, I don't do retail. Okay. That's not my remit. But it's an Adidas kit.
Okay. So. All right. We'll investigate in other areas for that then.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're in the middle of what is laughingly called the summer, and it all seems like this phony war at the moment. Some players are signed, contracts are coming to an end on the 30th of June, then it all sort of kicks off again. What in terms of getting the fans involved with the players, what do you hope to do there?
Lots of things really. So Mark's obviously come in, and he's been really positive, and he wants to build that relationship as well. And I think that with him having that, he'll only like reflect that on the players. He'll make them do the same thing. But there'll be things like we want to sort of go to schools and give out tickets, and we'll be taking the players there, which was we were doing that towards the end of the season last year as well. But we'll be looking to do that more this season. Simple things like they were obviously the injured players were going to the junior red room. We'll be doing that again. We'll also be looking to bring them to the club shop. So if you're passing, you can pop in. We will be looking to do more of an itinerary this year, so that when players or Rock and Robin are at these places, fans will know where to find them at certain times, so they know where to go. But players, it's just about making them available there as well. It's quite hard at the moment because obviously they're still on their summer break. But when they come back, they'll be sort of told and laid out to them the season, and then obviously how we can work together to make sure they are involved on and off the pitch.
Because it goes back to you being as a young fan. I mean, you know what it's like when you meet a footballer for the first time, and you're not sure, you're not really, you're not that bothered who the footballer is, are you? It's just a footballer, and you see that in the junior red room, don't you?
Yes.
That sort of magic exists.
Yeah, exactly. So we just want to sort of make them have that relationship too. So you know, fans pay a lot and put a lot of time and effort into supporting football clubs. So it would be nice for them to sort of give that back.
Yeah, difficult job, I know it is, to get players involved, because they have lives outside football as well, don't they? So, but I think the one thing. Kerry says club shop hours outside 9 till 5 for workers, please. Again, retail not your thing, but has the club looked at that?
It's tricky. They looked at it, I think, 2 seasons ago now, and they did do a late opening 12 till 6:30. And to be honest, from what I've been told, they didn't get many people turn up in that sort of outside of 5. So I'm not saying no. It's something that I will report back, but I'll do what I can. I'll speak to who I need to speak to. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit. We are asking you all these questions on the first day of your job, which is a little bit unfair, I know. But obviously, you'll be aware that people are concerned about. They want to know about their football club. That's basically it, and you know that as well as anybody, don't you?
Yes, that's fine. Like, I knew that there would be a lot of questions. Obviously, I'm the sort of first person people can probably talk to for a long time, so I get that people have those sort of questions and they want to ask them, and that's fine. Ask away. Like I say, I will try and find out and get you an answer. It might not necessarily be the one you want, but I will certainly ask and get an answer to you. So,
will you work closely with the community foundation, because they do magnificent work, don't they? I mean, they're wonderful people, and they of course have a great close connection with the community. So, will you be working with them?
Yes, yeah. We'll be working with them. We've got a meeting with them this week, so we'll be putting plans in place for that. Yeah.
So, in terms of your job, then, you've had what, I don't know, when did the actual announcement made? 10:30 this morning. So, how long have you been in the job? Did you start this week or?
Officially last week.
Okay, right. Yeah, last week. So, what have you learned in that intervening week or so?
How much I need to do. But and not so much, because now the fans know, I can start seeing what they want. So I guess the work starts now in the sense of putting everything in place and going back to the fans and seeing what the fans want to move forward. So.
Sure. Mark says, will you be liaising with the supporters club? Well, yes, you will. I mean, we know that, so that's fair enough. That's an easy one to answer. And in terms of what you would like to see the fan groups give to you, I mean, what would you like?
Just communicate. If you come to me, then we can work together, and it works both ways. If I see something and I can come to the fan groups and do the same thing, and we all want the same end result, so I don't see it being an issue with us all working together.
And the fact is, you want to know if there is anything wrong as well as everything right, don't you?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Because then we can try and put those things right. So yeah.
I mean, the classic example is that the camera in the ladies' toilet, if I might be bring that one up back again, but that was solved within a few days. So if that's pointed out, you can sort it out.
Exactly. Yeah, the club were on it straight away. It was always in place, so the signs obviously was the issue. But they acted on it straight away, and like you say, within a couple of days it was resolved. So, and that's what we'd look to do with any sort of situation, issue, if you like. So
best to say about it rather than not say about it and moan about it.
Yes, yeah.
Fair enough. It could be a positive as long as people in these positions are open and honest with the fact that the club currently is in a terrible position. Only way is up. Brackets, not really true, but optimistic, says Oliver. I mean, you're aware, 19th League Two for a club like Swindon, not good enough. We need to move on. We move up. And is there a sense that maybe we can draw a line and move forward from that?
I think that would be, I think we need to. It's no secret that we shouldn't be. I don't like saying shouldn't be. Obviously, we didn't do what we should have done.
You're where you are, aren't you? That's the end.
Yeah.
Of it. Yeah.
Yes. So there's that. But I think drawing a line under it would help move forward, and we can all then try and move forward together and move on and build that relationship. Yeah.
Are we going to be inviting past players back to chat to fans, like a legend session hosted by a good questioner, maybe in the lounge prior to games? Well, I think there are plans afoot to get former players back. So that would be something, obviously, that you'd be very much interested in, wouldn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Stephen Trowbridge, congratulations on the new role. STFC Business Group and sponsors are looking forward to working with you. Do you think it's important to send a team out in the Wiltshire Shield as the county's only professional club? I mean, we'd all like to see Swindon in the Wiltshire Shield, wouldn't we? I mean, as a fan, you want to see that, don't you? I mean, it used to be quite a big event. We'd like to win a cup tie. That'd be really nice, of any sort, quite frankly.
Yes.
What about your relationship with Mark Kennedy then? Because obviously he's come in. In his first day, he was in the ticket office answering the phones. What's it been like? Yeah, what's it been like?
Very, very friendly. It short and sweet because he made a point of going around and seeing everyone and introducing himself. But in the brief sort of meeting, it was a case of, this is what I want. I know this is what the club wants. Let's work together. And just making sure that everyone's on the same page, because if everyone is on the same page, which it appears everyone behind the scenes is, then more chance of success. So, we are all on the same page. So he will make my life easier, because if I go and ask him for a player to make an appearance, then he's more likely to say yes. Equally, if we're not, if we've got that relationship, it's just easier all around. So,
I mean, I think it's fair to say that when you think back, people like Richie Wellens got it, didn't they?
Yes, yeah.
He got that connection. Do you get the feeling with Mark that he might have the same sort of connection?
And do you know, it's funny because as soon as he left, obviously Mark's completely his own person, but as soon as he left, I was like, I get Richie Wellens vibes from him. And we all know how that ended, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I think it's important, isn't it? And I well remember Richie staying behind after a social event in the Legends, chatting to people for hours and hours and hours. And you kind of get that with Mark Kennedy. I met him on that day when he, was announced, and he was quite happy to chat to anyone, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah. If anything, he was trying. He's sort of you've got to move on, sort of thing, and that's what you want in a manager, really, is giving that time to anyone.
Sure. So. Let's have a look. Now then. This is from PJ Rebick, right? Rest assured, Vicky is the best for the role she's been given. Hopefully, she's given time and support from both the club and fans. Also, she does a great Kerry Mucklow impression. Now, for those who don't know, Kerry Mucklow was a character in This Country and was well known for wearing a Swindon Town shirt, and turned up at an awards ceremony, the person who played it, in a Swindon Town dress. So do you want to give us a burst?
We'll save that one for the Christmas party.
Okay. I'm not doing very well on this because I asked Dokes to give us a song at the Supporters Club end of season dinner. He didn't do that either, so I'm not very good at this.
You'll get Dokes doing his before me, I can assure you.
Fair enough. Actually, that all joking aside, that was great publicity for Swindon Town, wasn't it? That series.
Yes. Yeah.
You do that again, really, couldn't you? A nice little series like that.
Get them to come back.
Yeah, definitely. Oliver says, fair play, Vicky. Nice to see someone work their way up from supporter, club shop, ticket officer, now part of the key staff within the club. Someone who genuinely cares about the fans and where the club is. Are you planning on being available on match days to answer questions? And if so, where are you likely to be stationed? That's from Mark.
So I mentioned about Rockin' Robin and people having their own itinerary. I think I'm going to have one for myself. We'll put something in place. I know I will be, sort of the last couple of seasons, I've been more just in the shop. This season was always going to be about floating around a bit more and making sure that I am noticeable on a match day. But I'm also going to be popping my head into the away end and checking on them as well. So we'll put some timings out there for sure.
Great. I mean, I sometimes we just completely forget about the away fans, but bless them. You know, if you get 36 fans from Harrogate, they're just as important as 5,000 coming down from Wrexham, aren't they?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and we're all football fans at the end of the day. We follow our club from one end of the country to another. We deserve to be treated with respect. And the one thing I get from you is that they will be. Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
If I might ask you your memories of Swindon then, what's your favourite memory?
Oh, my favourite memory. Wow. I mean, Nathan Burns' goal at Sheffield United stands out as in a winning goal, like memory. Another one for me, I don't know why I remember this. This is going back years and years ago. John Paul McGovern scored at Yeovil to draw 3-3.
Yeah.
And that one for me has always stuck with me. I don't know if it was because we were on the terrace, so I was quite young. And the way that he just scored and then stood on that hoarding. I don't know if that's why, but that one, Nathan Byrne at Sheffield for me.
Andrew said, crush my daughter.
There's a slightly selfish memory. We went to Brentford in the playoffs and lost on the penalties. And I got Simon Ferry's shirt. So I think I was the only one who walked out with Griffin Park with a smile on my face. But football memories, those two.
That was an incredible moment with John Paul McGovern, wasn't it? Because that was a real connection between the travelling fans and a player. That was a moment, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And so that's your favourite sort of memories. What's your first recollection? You mentioned the first game you went to, but when did Swindon Town first kind of enter your consciousness? Because of your family?
Yeah. It's not even so much a game. I remember just because we all sat up at the top of the Don Rogers, and it was kind of just during half time, and there's stuff going on, but we were all just chatting, and I kind of, that for me was just, that's what I think of when someone says your memory of Swindon Town. Is not so much the football side of it, but why I go was ultimately because my granddad was there, my dad, my aunt, and me and my brother, and that was how it was for a long time. So that to me, when you say Swindon Town, but my youngest memory, I don't know. I know that my first away game was Lincoln away, And I remember getting orange hats.
Oh, right.
And there was no segregation. But again, that's not really remembering football. That's
But that's the whole point, isn't it? Because football it is about the 90 minutes. It is the most important thing.
Yeah.
But it's the rest of it. And I know people have been moaning. I know people have been saying they're not renewing their season tickets. But the one thing they've all said is if they don't renew their season tickets, they lose that friendship of a match day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's it, isn't it? That ultimately you do go for those 90 minutes, but there's more to it than the football. There's the friends you meet at football. And weirdly, I remember that next to my dad was a guy, and we chatted to him for years, and it ended up turning out distantly they were related. So it was through like my dad's gran and his gran or something. It was a bit of a way down, but they were related. So small world, really, but you're all there for the same thing. You all have that in common. So yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible, really, because you sit with people that you don't see outside of the football. And, you know, we've sat with the same people for years and years and years. And the only time we ever see each other is on a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's incredible. That's the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's it. Your seat's your seat, isn't it? You wouldn't. That's why season tickets are important, because if you didn't, you lose that connection with the people around you as well. So that's one of the reasons a lot of people have a season ticket, is to keep those connections with those people.
Could I mention season tickets to you then? Obviously, there have been all sorts of rumours about, they haven't sold many. You know, that shows that people aren't buying season tickets. They're not coming back. You know, people, I'm not going back. I'm not buying a season ticket next year. Some people haven't, and I totally respect that view. Other people have. I totally respect that view. What can you tell us about season ticket sales?
With all the doom and gloom, there's not much difference between last year, and I think the club know that obviously there was that silence, and we will learn from it. We are learning from it, but yeah, then the figures aren't that different, and obviously I understand people's frustration. They're not renewing, but also, and they're waiting for players and players to come through the door, but you can still get one. So it's not a plug, but so people's options can run, and obviously their opinion might still change, just because it's end of early bird. There's not a deadline yet. And so people's minds still might change. Yeah. Yeah,
sure. So not a million miles away from last season is what you're saying. That's
not a million miles. No.
All right. Hi Russ, I love my away days, meeting up with old faces and the banter. A home game, sitting with the same faces and enjoying the day. Again, goes back to what we were saying. Now, another point is, of course, that people are very traditional, right? As you know, some people go to the local pub. They stay in the local pub till about 2:45. Then they come in the ground.
Yeah.
So that's where the club needs to do some work, isn't it? To make sure that those people come to the ground earlier.
Yeah.
And, you know, whatever, that makes it part of the day, rather than sit in the, I'm only picking the County Ground Hotel because we know it's local and it's not far away. But you take the point I'm making. They want people to come to the stadium earlier, don't they?
Yes. Yeah. And this goes back to, obviously we're limited for space. But obviously if we can, then we will. So again, I don't want to make any promises at this point. And I can't elaborate too much, but yeah, if we can, we will. So leave it at that.
Yeah, well, you're doing very well at answering a question without answering a question. So that's very, that's very You've thought of being a politician at any point in the future?
I've got enough roles.
Yeah, I know that it's difficult for you, and you've only just got into the role. So we are asking you all these questions, and you don't necessarily have the answers. But you must be delighted with this. I mean, you are delighted with this. I know you are.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something that when the opportunity came up, it was an easy answer. I didn't have to think twice about it. So, and we're all on the same page as well. And although yes, my name is on the roll, I've got a great team supporting, helping, offering. So it is a team effort. Yeah, I'm just the face of it.
Hand out some free chips at 2 p.m, says Kev. I don't think the Magic Chippy would be too happy with that, would they?
I don't think so, no.
No. Our away days, says Tony, could be 3 or 4 days. Wow. Ours usually lasts about 55 hours, it seems to me. Let me talk about the staff, because there have been some awful remarks made about the staff, about the club being rotten from top to bottom. You know the ones I mean. And yet there are people who work behind the scenes who work tirelessly for the football club, you being one of them. How tight a team is that?
Yeah, we're very close, to the point that you go round for something and you get stuck chatting because it pings to like an idea, and then we want to act on it, and then it's, oh, let's go and see, and you try and get that idea going there and then, but the team are very close, and I appreciate the frustration of the fans and the top to bottom, but I think it's hard to break that. Where's your bottom? So it's hard for some of the backroom staff when they see that, and trying to break away from it. We completely get people's frustration, but it's hard to detach yourself on where that bottom is.
Yeah, I get the point you're making. How upset do people get? I mean, what I'm trying to do here is trying to say to people, please lay off the staff, because there's no need to get at the staff. You're doing your job. How upset are people getting with it?
They take it personally, and it's almost like, what else can we do? And we appreciate that obviously it was at a time where there was no communication, you ask for it, but there was also a time where there wasn't much to announce. So it's difficult, and we do sit on it and we go, right, well, what can we put this out, and can we do this? But ultimately it's hard. It's finding that balance. But yeah, it was taken quite personally to some.
Yeah. I can imagine. I mean, the point is, you can't keep putting out things that we haven't signed anybody today. I mean, I great, I don't know what else. You don't know if anybody's being signed in the near future, do you? I'm joking. What can I I mean, that's the exciting bit of close season, though, isn't it? New players coming in.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And being the fan, I'm always a bit like, oh, shall I go around and see if there's any movement? But we all want it, and it will happen when it happens. Obviously, it's just that waiting game, really. So
I mean, just a few days away now, unbelievably, from the first pre-season friendly at Supermarine. You'll be going, I guess.
I will be there. Yes, yeah.
So if people see you and come, I mean, you want to enjoy the game first and foremost. But if people see you and they come up and they say, "Look, I've got an idea," you're open to anybody having ideas for you.
Absolutely, yeah. I will probably try and position myself by the turnstiles, so that people can come and say hello if they want to, even if it is just a hello, or if you want to come and give me an idea, or say, actually, this has worked well before, or like you say, even if something's wrong, then I'm open to conversation. That's fine. I'll be at Supermarine, I'll be at Melksham, I'll be at Highworth. So just say hello.
And are you looking forward to that? The start of pre-season.
Yes, yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was driving to Barrow, I was kind of like, why am I doing this?
We all were.
I mean, to be fair, that was the only game on a Saturday we did win, so it was nice. but yes, I am looking forward to it. It depends what weather we're going to get at Melksham, because it's either scorching hot or pouring it down with rain. So
yeah.
So we'll keep that one 50-50 for now. But yeah, pre-season, I am looking forward to it. Yeah.
Actually, you mentioned Barrow Way, and towards the end of the season, and it was the one where Swindon were basically safe. But those are the days you kind of go for, isn't it? I mean, all right, 3-0 at Barrow towards the end of the season doesn't sound great on paper, does it? But on a season like we just had, that was a pretty good day, even though the stand was like was about to be blown away in a gale, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did fear for our safety a little bit that day. But they are, yeah, because they're also the ones that you remember. I mean, obviously there wasn't many to remember, but it makes it worth it. You've put those miles in. And Barrow's one of those awkward ones that I think we were there from about 12 o'clock. And whilst
nowhere to go.
Whilst they have got the soccer bar on the corner, obviously if you're driving, it's kind of, now what?
Yeah.
So you've obviously put the miles in, etc. So it's almost like that little reward, and you just leave smiling with 3 points. So, and safety.
Nice chip shop. That's what I can say. Very good value in that chip shop. So there we are. We just got a couple of minutes left. So this is an amazing job. You've got all these other roles. Are the club going to help you? Because it is a lot. You have got a lot on your plate. Will you be getting help from the club? Yeah.
I have got help. Like I say, I've got help from Laura in the ticketing team, who's going to do SAS. So she's amazing. And then, like I say, I've got the backroom staff, backroom sort of team that are helping give me ideas, taking their time to sort of help me as well, like with putting things in place and things, and like media, we're ironing out. We're putting a fan guide together, like an itinerary, so that people will know what's going on, home and away, so that away fans have a clear sort of idea as well. I definitely have the backing from the staff around me as well. So I think it will all come together nicely.
We should mention Laura done the difficult job of following on from the sad death of Mark Waters, and I know she's found it very difficult, because obviously you would in a situation like that. But I think from what she said already, then plans are well in place, and you are going to help her tremendously as well by allowing it in the club shop, etc. So I think we wish her all the best, because it is a massive job. I mean, Mark was brilliant at it, but organising a seating plan fills me with horror, I would imagine. We wish Laura and husband Mark all the very best in what they're going to do. So Sean says thank you and all the very best, Vicky. And I think all those messages that have come through today are exactly the same. They just want you to do well in the role. You are a fan. You've got the job. Congratulations. And we'll be in touch all the way through the season. So thank you very much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you both. Looking forward to working with you.
If only people turn their mute off when they were talking to us.
Might help. Yeah, professional I am. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and I appreciate how difficult it must have been, because it's just your first day in the job. And as I say, you've got our support, and going forward, I think it's going to be a great success. But really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you.